On the 23rd of August 1942, Friedrich Paulus led the Sixth Army to the outskirts of Stalingrad. Before the Heer or the German ground forces went into the city itself, the Luftwaffe, the German Air Force, initiated heavy bombing raids on Stalingrad. The bombing was carried by the Luftwaffe for Germany for Air Fleet No. 4, which was at the time the largest combat formation of aircrafts in the entire world. Some 1,000 tons of bombs were dropped in 48 hours. The Soviet Air Force was also destroyed in the initial attack. It lost 201 aircrafts between the 23rd and 31st of August, and the air superiority was gained by the Germans.
After the bombing raid finished, the Heer launched their attack on the city. The initial defense of the city was done by the 1077th Anti-Aircraft Regiment, a unit which was made up of female volunteers. They fought for every inch of the ground, but was defeated later by the 16th Panzer Division. By the end of August, part of the Heer had finally reached the Volga River in the north of Stalingrad.
In September, the German High Command ordered one infantry division to go after Mamayev Kurgan, which was a hill overlooking the city. One division was ordered to attack the city's rail station, and the other was ordered to attack towards the Soviet ports on the bank of the Volga River. The German attacks were initially successful, but because to the massive Soviet reinforcements that were brought across the Volga, the attacks were stalled.
The Soviets took back Mamayev Kurgan and the train station, which changed hands a dozen times before the Soviets were able to finally stop the German attack. The Germans never captured the ports on the bank of the Volga.
Later on, the Soviets turned every multi-floor building in the way of the Germans into a series of well-defended strongholds, with a squad of men defending each building.
Anti-tank guns were hidden on the lower, while on the second and third floor were machine gunners and snipers. On the top floor were lookouts and radio operations, and the building itself was surrounded with mines.
One of the most famous Russian snipers was Vasily Zastev, who had over 225 confirmed kills during the battle. There were also a lot of female Russian snipers employed in Stalingrad.
Because of this, despite bitter resistance of the Soviets, the Germans were finally able to reach the Volga River banks. This split the Soviet into two pockets in the north and south of the city. Fighting continued in those areas. Meanwhile, the Luftwaffe strengths had been weakened due to the Allies landing in North Africa. This also caused the Luftwaffe 4 to send some of their aircrafts to help African troops. While the young men fought for every inch of the ground in Stalingrad, the Stavka, or the Soviet High Command, planned to encircle the Sixth Army with a pincer movement. This operation was codenamed Operation Uranus by Stavka.
This operation was to be led by Alexander Velesvsky and Georgy Zhukhov. This operation was carried from the 19th to the 23rd of November 1942. Two Soviet armies surrounded the Germans in this operation by going around the city of Stalingrad from the north and the south. The northern flank of the German army was guarded by the Germans' allies, such as the Italians, Hungarians, and the Romanians.
These troops were less trained than the Germans, and their defensive lines were stretched. This caused the defenders to flee away when they saw the approaching Soviet T-34s and KV-1s. The bottom flank of the Sixth Army was guarded by the German 48 Panzer Corps, which on relief after being depleted in the battle. This caused the southern flank to be broken easily too. The Sixth Army in Stalingrad was encircled into the city by December of 1942.
On the 12th to 23rd December 1942, a German attempt to relieve and reconnect with the trapped Sixth Army, led by General Erich von Manstein, was carried out. This operation was called Operation Winter Storm. The operation looked like it was going to be a successful operation, but because the lack of support from the trapped Sixth Army against the Soviet, which had 150,000 contrast to the relief forces 50,000, the operation was called off on the 23rd of December 1942.
The Sixth Army was doomed from that point on. Hitler ordered Paulus not to surrender, and he sent in supplies from the air. But because of the vast amount of trapped soldiers and aircraft being occasionally ground because of the harsh winter, the supplies were not nearly sufficient.
Alright, hello everyone. I'm Vasily Lovashkin. I'm now reporting from the Red Army Base headquarters. And now I'm with Lieutenant Dmitry Pashenko. Hello, Lieutenant.
Hello, Vasily.
Alright, now, can you tell us about the air war over Stalingrad?
Of course. Basically, at first, most of our air force and aircraft were destroyed by the German surprise attack. And then, because of the Germans were sending in so many aircraft, they suffered from heavy casualties on our anti-aircraft gunners. And so while the Germans were bleeding supplies, we had time to build our own air force again. And then by the time of the counter-offensive attack in December, our air force were as strong as theirs. Because we were used to the cold weather of the motherland, we could perform better, and then we could encircle the Germans and then make them surrender.
Alright, nice. Very interesting. Now, I see that you're wearing a medal too. Can you explain to us more about the medal?
Do you mean this medal?
Yes, right.
Okay. Of course, this is a medal hero for the Soviet Union. I got this medal for saving my friend while we were on patrol.
Alright. Now, can you tell us more in depth about it?
Of course. Before the battle started 1 month, I was on a patrol over Stalingrad with one of my comrades, and we were leveling the plane for about half a flight. Then I decided to climb up in altitudes so I could get a better view of the city, and also to spot any enemy scout planes if there were any. And then moments later, my radio was buzzing like crazy. And then it was my friend trying to contact me. And then I heard gunshots, so I looked down and then I saw a German fighter on my friend's tail. So I dived down at high speed. I almost snapped my wings in half because I traveled down so fast that I quickly turned and shot. I had to do a clinch shot, that's why I almost snapped my wings. But anyways, it took several shots to set fire upon the German fighter, but I shot them out.
Alright, nice. Thank you. Alright, thank you, Lieutenant Dmitry Pashenko. Now I'm with Captain Ivan Hashki. Hello, Captain.
Hi.
Alright, now can you tell us about the ground battle in Stalingrad?
Yeah, sure. So first, Soviet men were sent right into the battle when they arrived. Some of them didn't even have weapons because their factories couldn't keep up with the demand. Those corps who retreated were shut down by blocking detachments because of Stalin's order 227, which prohibits any retreat.
Alright.
And because of this, our soldiers suffered major casualties, and which life expectancy was less than a day. Because of this, however, this also enabled the Soviets, our army, to hold the positions.
Alright. Now, this might sound cruel, but this tactic also allows us to win. So, to me personally, this is a just cause. Now, do you use any other tactics during the battle?
Yeah, kind of. Our army also employed tactics called hugging the Germans by the order of our general Vasily Zhuikov. These tactics forced our soldiers to be as close to the enemy as possible. In some areas, front line was about 10 meters wide. It was really, really tight here. This rendered German bombers and artillery to be ineffective because their men were killed if it was used.
Alright, thank you. Now, I noticed that your arm is injured. Did you get injured during the battle or what happened?
When I was coming to the headquarters, I was a bit late, so I ran. The floor was wet, and I slipped.
Well, that's unfortunate for Captain. Alright, thank you again.
Thank you.